Would you agree with me that one of the main functions of Stop and Search should be to reduce youth violence?
Yeah.
Great, thank you. I mean, one of the things that I find slightly concerning is that in the use of Stop and Search, since the beginning of your mayoralty, the amount of Stop and Search leading to finding a weapon has decreased by almost 27%. And it's already a very low number before your mayoralty, and after 2.6% down to 1.9%. I mean, the good news, as you would say, is that the rate of finding weapons, the positive outcomes of a search is going up, but that rate is falling. We know that the use of Stop and Search has fallen, and so the amount of weapons off the street as a result of Stop and Search has fallen.
I think that's a fair summary. That's one of the reasons why we're involving the community more in relation to use of Stop and Search and improving police training. But I think that's a fair concern you've articulated in your question.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. And the other question I had was to focus really on finding weapons. We know that obviously Stop and Search is very invasive, and there has been some talk of scan and search technology, especially on the TfL network. There was a pilot of this in 2019. However, what I wanted to ask you was what you thought of scan and search technology, but I don't think that would be a very fair question because there's never been a review or any analysis of that pilot. So would you please look to get some analysis of that to see if it's a useful tool that we could use?
Yeah, so you're right about the practice with experience with TfL. So look, one of the issues in relation to the body scanning technology is you've seen the stuff at the airports. It's not realistic to have that sort of technology on the streets, but also some of the practical issues. If you imagine the disruption to a street, the congestion it caused people in relation to if there was that on a street, but also how do you, using that technology in relation to metal detectors, manage to stop somebody carrying a bag of cocaine who's using it to supply and so forth. So we do look at the evidence. We look at what happens around the country and around the world, but there is going to still be a need for Stop and Search. But you're right, we should also be looking at whether there's new technology. The body scanners we're using in schools now more and more. We're using the arches more and more. What it does often do is lead to people avoiding the arches and so forth. But I think all these things are going to be kept under review, including looking at what works around the country and around the globe.
Thanks. Will you take that away to try and get some analysis of that 2019 pilot?
I've got a feeling that's just a memory that there was some. Can I go away and if there was, I'll provide it to you. If there isn't, I'll find out why. Because I just think there was, but I've not got it in my briefing, if that's okay.
Okay. In an answer to an earlier mayoral question, there was a confirmation there is none. But
I'm not saying you're wrong, but
no. But if we could look into it, at least I think it's worth. If we do a pilot, we should have some understanding.
Yeah, I think it was BTP and TfL, Deputy Chair, but can I take that away?
It was a combined effort involving the Home Office too. And
I may be misremembering.
And just finally, as you mentioned it briefly, Knife Ones, the funding from MOPAC has fallen off for Knife Ones, and so I actually went away and spoke to some schools because I wondered, has that fallen apart? Because they're not actually that expensive, the spending isn't that high, so I wondered, is it because schools don't want to use them? And I got a positive response from many schools, so could we perhaps look to rolling out Knife Ones further to those schools that are interested?
Yeah, so I'm really happy to respond to this because we did a lot of work, and Sophie Linden and Lib Peck did a lot of work in relation to saying to schools, you working with the police and having Knife Ones doesn't mean you'll get a bad reputation. It's a safeguarding issue, and it's changing the mindset of heads who may think they're worried about their school being labelled, inverted commas. We know we wouldn't do this, but you know, a bad school because there are school officers, Knife Ones. That conversation is carrying on with the VRU, but I'm more than happy, Deputy Chair, for Lib to write to the member. There has been some progress made. I've got to be honest, the Child Q case may lead to some retrenchment in relation to the progress we've made, but I'm happy to take that away and respond to you.